valid point there. That it makes perfect sense to have Filip Hrgovic as that replacement opponent should Tyson Fury once again withdraw from the undisputed fight. So not necessarily a surprise, but more that it's now set in stone. I'm not sure how that compares to Turki Al-Sheikh's promise to try and get Anthony Joshua in the opposite corner if for any reason Usyk has to pull out of the May the 18th rescheduled date. What did you make of that, Eamon, that now Sergei Lapin being clear about the fact that it is Hrgovic, no one else is under consideration?
Yeah, I really enjoy Krashik's way of describing things. Very much, hang on every word with Krashik whenever you have a conversation with him. Always a good talker, always a good speaker, and I appreciate him clearing up the situation. And I guess the situation was when it was laid out by Turki Al-Sheikh on that Zoom interview over on Era Hawani's channel. He said that Usyk would get an opponent of his choice should Tyson Fury pull out, and it was Usyk's pick, but I don't really think it's Usyk's pick, really, because Usyk's pick might have been a different pick had he not have to defend against his mandatory in the form of Filip Hrgovic. So really, this choice, this pick, whatever it is, whether it's by Usyk's hand or not, I think it makes complete sense that Hrgovic is in the fold now to at least have some form of fight happening on that date, whether it be against Fury and Usyk or not. If Fury, for whatever reason, falls out of the contention there, that Hrgovic comes in, and that hopefully, whoever comes through the fight, then we get the undisputed decided after the fact and not have one of the belts fragmented off, as would be the case should there be a rematch in the first one. It wouldn't be for the full undisputed because the IBF have made their position clear as to what's going to happen with their belt, or at least that's what the perceived feeling is from the IBF with their strict upholding of the rules. So either way, I think it makes sense really here that Hrgovic is lined up as a replacement opponent here. Whether that be the case, because on the other side of the equation was if Usyk pulls out for any other reason, it would be Joshua who'd be taking the place. Now, I don't know how much that really is a factor in the fight, considering would Joshua want to be a replacement opponent? That's a fight that needs real build, to be honest with you, just as opposed to having Joshua just dumped into the situation. I imagine he takes his training serious, but how serious would we take in that preparation, knowing that there's a fight that could fall at any point? He'd be put in that place, but you're basing your training on maybe as an if. So how much of a full Joshua will we get if that ever materialized? There are lots of ifs and buts there to play around with and interest in that. But really, the only fight I want to see on that May day is Fury versus Usyk. But I'm glad in some form that there is going to be some form of fight between one of the very best, at least, on that date. And we get to see a big fight for one of the belts at minimum contested on that date too.
DB Cooper 1 says, he's tried to say evening, but it says evenving. Evenving, Muppets. Should defo start this at 5:30 or 6 p.m. when people get off work? When he said evening Muppets, made me think of Jay from The In-Betweeners. All right, Muppets. DB Cooper 1. Yeah, we'll consider other times and stuff, but I don't know. We usually get a pretty decent audience at 5 o'clock, but yeah, I mean, we're open to ideas. Daryl Alexander says, just pulled in the chat. I think Jack was robbed in that fight. Catterall is my dark horse at 140. He gives all the champions at 140 problems. Just on that note, I've been a bit lax in not putting out the poll just yet, but we do have a poll. Basically, the rematch between Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. What happens? Got 4 options. Taylor inside the distance, Catterall inside the distance, or either man on points. So let us know what you think by voting. Vote with your thumbs or your fingers. DB Cooper 1 says, the $10 million fee I've always had my doubts over. Sounds more like a social contract where you'll be shamed if you pull out. We all know Fury has no shame. He's a charitable bloke who drives an 07 VW Passat. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Fury's past in that regard, but is it a social contract or is it a signed for thing? Because Krasuk said they insisted on that being part of the contract, but then when they said further discussion was needed to solidify that on Tyson Fury's side. So I'm not sure how set in stone it is on that side of things. Mikalejo says, I think Tyson injured himself on purpose. It was funny seeing Haymaker's video about the cut. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's quite an extreme to go to poke a massive laceration in your eyelid to get out of a fight. But yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. DB Cooper 1 again. Rocket science. What did you two get in your GCSE science then? I reckon Eamon was a triple science kind of Donny. I've no idea what a Donny is. But Eamon, yeah, what did you get in science?
Double B, did the double award, and I got 2 Bs. Didn't get 2 As, I got 2 Bs at GCSE. I got an A star in religious studies, A's in English, and English language and literature, but science Bs for me.
I think I got. I remember. I think I got C's. It was in black and white when I took them, but yeah, I think I got C's in science. I did double, but yeah, I think. Don't hold me to it. If anyone's got evidence out there, please don't bring it forward. But I definitely got a B in English though, but I got an A at A level. So as long as not bragging or anything, but yeah. So it's an interesting one because I'm not sure Fury has signed for that $10 million clause. I'm not sure if it'd even be a legal thing to do to pass it over to your opponent. But let's hope neither of them pull out. Obviously, that would be the ideal situation. But how does that work if you're Filip Hrgovic as well? Do you just kind of wait in the wings? You can't presumably put another fight on or in your diary, can you, just in case? So is he going to be compensated regardless? Is he on a certain amount of money as a retainer just in case? These are the things you'd have to know, because from Hrgovic's point of view, how do you stay motivated for what could be the biggest fight of your life, but may or may not actually happen? Like the chances are it won't.
I think in the UFC, what they do is they will go up all the way into when it's a big fight and they have replacement opponents just in case. They'll actually weigh in the replacement opponent as well. You get to see the replacement opponent weigh in. Heavyweight aside, if it's a different weight, I think they're all right with sometimes maybe it being a little bit off or whatever, considering that they're that replacement opponent as well too. And I think after the point where they weigh in, they get paid a portion or whatever it was they were guaranteed to be that replacement for that fight, even though the fight didn't go ahead for them as planned, and they were just waiting in the wings for that eventuality. So regardless, I think they're paid a piece of the pie, but nothing towards what they would get if they were in the fight itself. So I think they're probably taken from that model. I imagine probably get some of that information from Francis Ngannou, who's come over from that world there. But that's what I imagine to be the case, that someone like Hrgovic is probably getting paid to train right now, paid to be ready in the potential eventuality that Fury was to pull out of the fight.